And there's a very strong role for the media here. The media have trumpeted the triumphs of our music and sporting heroes. Let's hear it now for the people who carry the torch for manufacturing. What I want to do is to tell you a story about productivity. We have a factory called Grace Canning, which actually makes canned products, but it also makes bottled juices and ketchups and so on. And this young man, his name is Omar Barham. He came up to the then CEO, Simon Roberts, in 2005, and he says, listen, if you allow us, he at the time he's about 20 years old, out of high school, not a university graduate. He says, if you allow us to use 300 to 400,000 Jamaican dollars, we will find a way to double the productivity of our line. And they were making about 3,000 cases per shift of that particular product, which is basically bottled juices and ketchup. And Simon had confidence in him, and he let him do it. What he actually did, or what they did, this group of youngsters, is they recognized that the line was jamming because it was being manually controlled in terms of the flow of the product. So they bought a whole series of electronic sensors, which basically control the rate at which each section of the line ran, and fed it into a simple computer system, which basically automated the flow. The effect was not only to double the production. It did eventually. It went to 6,000 cases from 3,200 cases. But it's now running at 10,000 cases per shift. And these are youngsters that are just ordinary guys, straight out of high school. And so Simon actually started a wall of honor in the plant where he said, every time we create a new record, which was every 2 weeks, I'd put it up on the wall. And that is what really drove these folks to even greater heights. Of the 4 people in the group, all of them have moved on within the group to do other things because they have this tremendous potential for problem solving. And I think that's the exciting part about leadership. You know, we have spent a lot of time talking about macroeconomics, but it's really when you ignite the enthusiasm of youngsters to say, come and help me solve problems. So, macroeconomic issues, and I'm not going to be long on this, the lady at the back who is managing everybody down here. We've covered enough on macro issues, but I want to look at it from a slightly different way. I believe the biggest issue facing us on the macroeconomic front is the lack of trust between the public and private sectors. And because of that, we have been divisive in our approach over the last several decades. When I go overseas and I see Colombia or Argentina or Brazil or any of those folks, or the Dominican Republic or Trinidad at a conference, their public sector and private sector representatives are singing from the same hymn sheet. They are completely congruent on all the issues for their country. When we are go abroad, we're pulling in and tugging in different directions. And it's one of the things we need to solve right here at home in our own backyard first. I think we're on the way to do it. I think what we're doing with the Minister of Agriculture is working exceedingly well as an example of that. Because this is really the first step to having a game change in the way that we actually execute as a country. The next one I'll just touch on, and this one is for the Q&A again. It's going to be a long Q&A. The cost of energy in Jamaica, electricity, we're paying 31 cents US per kilowatt hour. Our competitors in Barbados are paying 12 cents and Trinidad 6 cents. Now you can say, oh, Trinidad is an oil producer, but Barbados is not an exporter of oil or natural gas. And they're smaller than us, and their electricity cost is less than half of ours. This is an issue we should have solved a long time ago in Jamaica. 20 years ago, we're still fiddling around with it, and we need to do something very, very important. We need to make it completely transparent how we're making the decisions on this particular topic. It has been clouded with a lot of controversy in our society recently, and we need to get beyond that and to make it completely clear which is the alternative, and that is LNG. It could be coal, it could be nuclear, it could be renewables, or it could be a mixture of all of the above. Doing business in our environment. Well, let me just share with you. As a manufacturer, sometimes it's slow and arduous, and I feel like I'm walking through molasses. And that's good if you want to get exercise, but that's not the reason we come to work. We come to work to create wealth. If I need that kind of exercise, I'll go to the gym. And so the issue about finding it an easy way to do business in Jamaica is probably the greatest incentive for entrepreneurs. There's a topic that has not been mentioned all day, and that is crime. When I speak to young people in our company, and I say, what is it that would motivate you more, get you excited, and come to work early in the morning, work late in the evening? Best. I said, you know, if only crime was low in Jamaica, I'd feel so much more comfortable doing all of these things. And it does affect us from a practical point of view, not only psychologically, but because to run a second and third shift in a manufacturing plant becomes a huge logistical exercise in many parts of Jamaica. So, there's one piece of good news now, the Jamaica Debt Exchange. What it has created an environment out there where you see people in the real sector saying, I want to invest, there's more to do. I've been told that the imports of manufacturing capital goods in March across our walls was 2 billion Jamaican dollars. So something is happening, something is catching a fire there. Where individuals and our corporations are making the decisions to invest in that regard. So, where are the growth possibilities? There are just lots of them. We've covered agro-processing, thank you, Minister. So I don't need to cover the fact that the key to this is to brand the bulk commodities that we have. Another area which may seem off the wall, but I don't think so, is to build on emerging demand for green technologies and to use our own initiative to commence assembly of components required for wind and other renewable energy industries here in Jamaica. There are young entrepreneurs doing this. They've been doing it in Barbados for decades and exceedingly well in that regard. In addition to that, I would like to see net metering in Jamaica, so those who are able to produce electricity on their own can sell the electricity back into the grid. That's what's going to create a huge explosion of investment in energy production in Jamaica. The opportunities in the domestic market are only limited by our creativity in meeting the unmet demands of our local consumers for furniture, books, chemicals, foods. One intriguing possibility in my mind is to find niche manufacturing which captures the creative skills of our fashion, music, and arts generally. If you can find a way to get all of them into one nice ball, wow, that's where it's going to go. Woof. I know it. But then it's the entrepreneurs who need to come up with that idea and that spark to make it work. But think of a country where manufacturers design and make specialist clothes, fashion accessories, printing books and magazines and posters, reproducing works of art that are affordable for a wide cross-section of our consumers here and overseas.